think, if your mom had a choice,
Yeah.
do you think she'd choose for you to marry a Korean woman over me?
I think she mentioned about it actually, that she wasn't happy with me getting married to America.
You never have told me that before.
I know.
What's going on, people? We are back again with another Moving Mad video, and this one right here is all about Nick and Devin. Now, here's the thing. Why is it a consistent thing that happens, if not every season, but at least every other season, where we always meet people who, for some bizarre reason, there's always a cultural issue. And that issue is always, but I don't know if my family's going to accept you. But then to make it worse, it's also, yeah, I haven't really told my family too much about you. And that's something else that we're going to touch on as well throughout this video. But it is a shame, though, for someone to travel all the way from across the road to be with somebody, but at the same time, they have no clarity that they're even allowed to be with that person because their family may not accept them purely because of where they're from. And it's crazy because we live in this world where we can talk about racism, we can talk about being prejudiced, we can talk about all those things that just involve judgment in the meanest ways, shall I say. But isn't it interesting, like, how it all comes in so many different forms of discrimination, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, the world that we live in, and I guess the world that we've always lived in, has always been so constructed. It's always been so constructed to, we are only allowed to be with this person. We're only allowed to be with that person. And the crazy thing about it is that when it comes to it, a lot of the time we say that this is society's fault, which society does have a big part to play in it. But I think for me personally, it's worse when it comes from your family. Why can't we just come from a family where we are allowed to be with whoever we want to be with, and our family is going to happily accept them? Now, of course, sometimes on the show, we have families that are more than happy to accept. But then sometimes on the show, we have families that are not happy to accept. I really do hope for Devon's sake that she's in a position where the family do accept her. But based on the preview moving on for next week, I don't know, man, because it looks like it gets a little bit teary-eyed. But hey, let's continue.
Parents don't know much about Devin, but when they think of American women, like, have a bunch of one-night stands, do drugs at the party, blah, blah, blah.
This is going to be a train wreck.
Perception. Let's talk about perception. We live in a world where so many people don't want to be judged because of either their race or their culture, where they come from, all that kind of stuff, right? We live in that kind of world, which is sad. But the crazy thing is that when people judge, they first judge on perception. They don't judge on experience. They don't judge on actually getting to know that person. Now, of course, there are many people in the world that do get to know somebody, that do give the benefit of the doubt, and they won't try and judge based on perception. But that's the problem, isn't it? Perception is always a big problem. You can have a perception of me and think that I am this kind of way, maybe because of my pigmentation, maybe because of where I live, okay? Maybe the other way I dress, which is fine. You're entitled to that. That is you. But it's crazy, though, because your perception will never necessarily always be a fact. So that's why it's always important to really get to know someone, so therefore you know this person is legit. But here's the thing, though. With this guy here, he's already said that my family doesn't really know much about her. Why is that fair? Why is that fair? Why would you want to, one, yourself fall in love with somebody that you don't want to share your family? Two, allow that person to fall in love with you that you don't want to share with your family? And three, then get engaged with that person that you don't want to share with your family. And then also on top of that, get that person to travel all the way across the world, and you still have not shared this person with your family. Can somebody please tell me, how can you not share someone with your family if you claim that you love them, you claim that you want to be with them, you claim that the best things ever happened to you, but yet you still don't want to share them? Because I tell you this now, despite the fact that you may know your family, you may know the judgment that they may bring, if you know how you truly feel about somebody, you will not give a damn about how your family feels, because at the end of the day, it comes down to a choice where either they can accept who you've fallen for, or they can choose to not accept that person. And if that's the case, then you can always choose to pick the person that you fall in love with, rather than the family that doesn't want to accept that person. Because like I always say, for my own personality, the family you create is more important than the family you come from, because the family you create is the next generation. That is your legacy moving forward. You see what I'm saying? But either way, though, I really hope that next week's episode doesn't go as bad in terms of the fact that she does seem to break down based on what we saw. Hopefully it goes in the right direction, but it is quite sad, isn't it, how we can focus on maybe the race between, I guess maybe, it is sad how we can focus on racing between white and black, but we don't necessarily focus on judgment and prejudice and discrimination when it comes to just cultures. You see what I'm saying? These type of challenges. I do wish sometimes these are the things that were kind of more projected in front of us to talk about more than just the typical, you know, I'm black, I'm white, blah, 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 blah. It's getting boring now, you know what I mean? It's been boring, to be fair, since day one. But nonetheless, though, you guys let me know what you're thinking down below and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.